We are live.
Awesome. Thank you, Carla. Hello, everyone. My name is Kate Wilkes. Some of you know me as Kathy Wilkes, and I am certified in 3 areas of life transformation. And we are here today with our Mindset Reset. So we're on here every first and third Wednesday of the month. And so my name is Kate Wilkes. I am certified in 3 areas. I'm also certified as a mental wellness coach. And I want to introduce you to the lovely Carla Elizondo. Carla, introduce yourself to everyone.
Hello, thank you for having me, Kate. I love this. I know we do this together, but I always feel like you are just such an inspiration to me. So, again, my name is Carla Elizondo. I am a mindset coach, I'm a psychotherapist, I'm a certified coach at the Napoleon Hill Institute as well, and a principal teacher there. So, I teach all things personal development and mindset, and it is just a passion. And like Kate said, we're here every first and third Wednesday. And today we want to, and they're small kind of power lessons, mindset reset, how to
Yeah.
reset our minds. And Kate had a wonderful topic today. You want to share the quote that really inspired the conversation for today?
Yeah, absolutely, Carla. Thank you. So when one of the things that I love about the community that we're in, Carla, at the Napoleon Hill Institute, is that we continue the study. Like just because we're certified, and many of us have multiple certifications, including yourself, it's not like a one and done. We're in this study every single day. And so when I was studying this morning, I got into this idea of what is a fixed mindset versus a growth mindset. And what came to me, we know how the universe works. What came to me was this quote by Eric Hoffer, and Bob Proctor used to share this all the time. And it goes like this. It says, in times of change, learners inherit the earth, while the learned find themselves beautifully equipped to deal with a world that no longer exists. And, the other thing that came to me this morning was I was thinking I would much rather have more questions than I can answer than think that I have an answer to every question. Because to me, that's a fixed mindset.
Yeah, you're assuming that you already know.
You're assuming that you already know, and so you're not open to new ideas. One of the greatest assets that we can have, and we talk about, I was thinking about this in my former industry, the mortgage banking industry. There's a lot of talk about competition and rates and lack of inventory and all of the limiting things, the limiting ideas that are out there. But the one thing that we have control over is how we think and what we think. And whether or not we're in that fixed mindset, like it's contracting and there's not enough and things are out of place and the flow is not there, when we stay in that fixed idea, the new ideas, which take you from the competitive plane to the creative plane. The creative plane is a much higher energy potential. And Carla, I know you and I have talked about this, about really coming from a creative state and really using the power of the mind to go into that growth cycle. Like, what's the next level? What's the next level? Not from a place of um, thinking that there's not enough, but from a place of knowing that we always have way more power and potential
Yeah. Yeah,
than we ever thought possible.
the word that's coming to me when we don't use a muscle, it's called atrophy, right?
Yes.
Okay. So that's when you were speaking, growth mindset is always growing and using and moving and strengthening. The opposite is atrophy. The opposite is not just staying where you are. So even that quote, like, the learners will inherit the earth, always growing. Like a lot of people, especially here on LinkedIn, if you're watching, professionals, we have, CEs, continued education. We have to do those units of continued learning. It's kind of a requirement.
Yeah.
Or what kind of service are you rendering? We have to really have integrity and ethically come at our field of work with a sense of passion and growth, that growth mindset, because other than that, we're by default getting flabby and sitting around. It's just like, say a
Mhm.
personal trainer, they learn all the things, they get in shape, they walk the walk, they talk the talk, and then they start teaching it to other people. Then their clients start getting great results, but then they themselves stop doing it. So we see this all the time. We go into these, fitness clubs, and we see trainers that they themselves are not in prime shape, and it's their job to teach. And so are we going to go into a club, a fitness club, and have a trainer that doesn't even have the results we want? Are we going to go to a therapist who's a mess? I
Yeah.
mean, are we going to go to a doctor who drinks a big gulp and coughs and wheezes and smokes cigarettes on his break? Like, no judgment. But we have to understand that people who have this growth mindset, they are always expanding, always learning, and they're the ones that are always attracting the opportunities
Yeah.
to be involved in what's new, what's fresh. And so it behooves us to all do that because we're going to be left behind.
Yeah. Yeah. As I was thinking about this morning, Carla, I had really 5 insights that I thought we could share today. The first one being when we're in a fixed mindset, we avoid challenges. When we're in a growth mindset, we embrace challenges. But sometimes when people are challenged, I have a love-hate relationship with the word challenge because I think um, part of me feels like there's energy around that feels like there was a lot of effort, but part of me feels like I love the effort. It's like, you were using the gym analogy. It's like when we go to the gym, like I was cycling this morning, and man, when I hit that hill, that uphill, I was like, wow, this is like I felt the resistance. But I thought, you know what? Unless I press through the resistance, unless I use my mind to really control how my body is feeling, I'm
Mhm.
going to quit.
Yeah.
I'm going to stop.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Have you ever had an experience where like maybe a challenge came to you? One or two?
Oh my goodness. Well, the mind controls everything. The
Yeah.
mind controls our emotions. The mind controls our physical sensations. Our mind controls everything. Okay? Your body is just an instrument of the mind. And as Kate used that beautiful analogy of cycling, I have ran 3 full marathons, multiple half marathons, and our one of our great sisters, Molly Croker, she is an Iron Man, an Iron Woman. She did the full
Yes.
Iron Man. And it you can only get through it with the power of your mind. When you're challenged, so to answer your question more specifically, I was on mile 18 of I think my second marathon, full marathon, and my knee started hurting. And right away I was like, "Well, Carla, don't be silly, don't hurt yourself. Like, you don't this is not worth it. Don't be injured." But in my mind, I thought, "You know what? I'm just going to keep running even slower, just walk for a little bit and run and push through, and if anything, anything comes up that like okay intuition like you have to stay off this knee." But it never happened. I pushed through. I went all the way through it to mile 20, 21, 22, all the way to 26 point 2. But it's in those moments that you have to, as David Goggins says, get in their cookie jar and pull out
Yeah.
these inner resources. And so, yes, that was just one of many examples, Kate, that I've had of mind over matter. We hear that all the time, but nobody puts it into practice because we don't even understand how our mind works. Number one, most people don't because we're not taught,
Yeah.
and we don't know we have a choice.
We do. We always have a choice. I was thinking too, like the next one I wrote down is a fixed mindset will give up easily, while a growth mindset will persist in the face of setbacks. And I know you recently made a transition from having a salaried W-2 job to really going off and flying as an entrepreneur. And that was probably not easy. How did you manage your mindset when you came up to any kind of a resistance or the doubt, those seeds of doubt that try to plant in the subconscious mind? How did you get through that, Carla?
My goodness. First of all, I would have never even considered that, Kate, if I wasn't studying this material.
Yeah.
Because to me, it's foolish, it's irresponsible, it's silly, you're just waiting, you're just asking for trouble. How dare you? You have a great job. You have been taught well. You went to school for this. You are set, Carla. How silly. And I've had colleagues tell me that. Carla, you're just do what you want to do on the side. Like this is great. Don't let it go. Don't be stupid, right? Don't be foolish.
Oh, that's
Um,
the common hour thinking, I call it.
yes, and it's free and it's easy. It's the
Yeah.
majority. It's what people say herd thinking, group think. And not to mention what was the most difficult. I mean, not just to mention all the outside voices that were there, but the programming I was raised with. The lack, the poverty mentality that I was raised with, the guilt. Oh, the guilt was so hard to deal with. Like, who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? you're not going to succeed. You're not like all the voices, as Napoleon Hill talks about in his book, Outwitting the Devil. There's that little rascal, there's that inner devil, like just like the old cartoons, how they have the devil and the angel. And Dr. Joe Vitale on Napoleon Hill Institute's mentorship call yesterday had a wonderful talk to everybody involved in the Napoleon Hill Institute mentorship program, and he talked about the voices in your head. He talked
Yeah.
about the voices. We all have that inner cheerleader, and we all have that like inner devil wanting to take us down. So what got me to be able to even consider this decision, Kate, is this material, studying, learning my mind, knowledge, and most importantly, my mastermind group, which you are a part of. You laid
Yeah.
reflected back to me my strengths, my power. You were my cheerleaders. You turned that voice up in me. We can't do it alone, y'all. We cannot do it alone. Try. I've tried. That was the one thing that I wish I would have learned younger. So studying this material, getting with like-minded people, masterminding, and going for it.
Yeah. This is so good. So what I'm hearing you say, Carla, is you had a structure of support. You were around like-minded people, and you didn't allow people who had a point of view that was in their mind. I think when people come from a limiting point of view, it's limiting. That's how their world is. And many times we let them put their world on our world.
Project onto us. Yeah.
And so if we allow that doubt to come in, it's going to dilute. If you have a dream or something that you want to do or next level you want to get to in your career, know that if you can think it, it's absolutely possible. As long as it's within the bounds of nature, we know this for a fact by universal law that it is possible for you.
Yeah.
And it's just,
Sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to say you reminded me of this quote that I wrote down on this post-it. When people say, "Well, I just want what's best for you." I just want what's
yes,
best for you. That's code for I just want what makes me feel safe for you.
yes. Yes. Well, this is, we can go into 100 different topics, but this is where having a really strong self-image is essential. Because if you, like, people tell me that I'm crazy all the time, doing what I'm doing and living where I'm living, but you know what? That's their point of view.
Yeah.
Maybe it's crazy for them, but I know that it's right for me because this is who I am. And when you live out day to day, when you live out who you are and you're able to impact people in a tremendous way, there's nothing more fulfilling. Okay, so let's go down to the third one I have here. So a fixed mindset sees effort as worthless. What's the use? I've tried this before. What's the use? I've
Yeah.
tried it, it failed. It didn't work. And then a growth mindset sees effort. I love this one. This is my favorite. Sees the effort as a path to mastery. When you become a master of your mind, when you become a master of your thinking, the whole world changes, doesn't it, Carla?
Yes. Oh my God. What examples came up for you?
Yeah. So seeing it as work. So for example, I mean, I was talking to somebody earlier this morning. She's a potential client, and she was talking about how she's in this mindset where she diets, right? Her whole life, for 4 decades almost, she has just dieted and cycled in that. And she's an executive. So it impacts her work. It impacts how she feels at work. And it impacts her level of confidence. And I said, what if we could combine what you're doing from a health perspective because I'm not a health coach, but I am a mindset coach and I have a level of mastery in that, Carla, like you do. I said, what if we combine what you're doing in the physical plane from day to day with really developing an image, a new image of who you are?
Mhm.
And I said, are you up for doing that? Because that's life transformation. When we can begin to see ourselves in a whole new way as being empowered. So yes, she could have said, what's the use? I've tried it before. I've done this a million times. It doesn't work. And what happens is it's just that one way didn't work. Can you imagine if Thomas Edison, after the first 100 tries, said this doesn't work?
Right. Or
We
if anybody
wouldn't
else
have a ring light.
if anybody else that we look up to didn't go for it, like
Yeah,
we need, and so this is just a PSA. If you have something you want to do, we need you. Like the world needs you. So
yeah,
don't give up. Keep going. Keep pushing no matter what. If it's failed, try again. Don't stop
yeah.
till you win.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Okay, let's move on. So a fixed mindset ignores useful feedback, useful negative feedback. So when something, a feedback point of feedback comes and it's not pleasant,
Yeah.
it's really easy to put up a shield and say, you know what, that's not me, or
Yeah.
to kind of deflect it, rather than to say, you know what, a growth mindset says, what if there's 1% truth in
Mhm.
what this person is telling me? What if this is a gift?
Mhm.
And for a long time, I could not see feedback as a gift.
I mean, most people don't because it triggers that vulnerable, insecure, not good enough, unworthy part of us that makes us feel less than, and it takes a real person of stamina and strength to be able to take positive, constructive,
Yeah,
criticism.
it really does. But you know what? I think, again, I mean, I love gym analogies because it's so tangible. When you, I mean, I don't know the technical term, but I know like if you're lifting a dumbbell,
Mhm.
you know, you're lifting it up toward you and then away. There's a positive and a negative. And so both are needed to create strength. Same
Yes.
thing with the mind. If somebody gave us positive feedback all day long and I just loved on you, Carla, and said how wonderful you are and how brilliant you are and how gorgeous you are and all of those things, which are all true. But if there was something that you were doing where I was like, you know what, I wonder if she's aware that this is happening.
Right.
And I came to you in a very loving way and said, you know what, I've noticed that something has shifted here. Tell me
Mhm.
more about this. Is there anything I can do to help support you? When you come at it like that, it's collaborative, it's loving,
Yeah.
it's generative. It helps the person rise up to that next level of performance.
Yeah, and I think you hit the nail on the head. It takes, what's the word? Not maybe tact. It's a skill to be able to bring that up to somebody, especially it's like, why am
Yeah.
I saying this to this person? So for example, in our mastermind group, we've
Yeah.
definitely, and I remember, especially the 1 degree part, I was so resistant to, I think, doing something. And you said, well, Carla, would you allow me to speak on that? And I said, sure, like, or feedback. And you said, what if you just leaned in 1% to that? What if you stopped resisting and you just leaned in? And I remember the way you said it was not harsh, it was not judgmental, it was loving. And although it was, I didn't want to hear it, and I was like, but I don't want to do right. I don't want to like lean in 1%, Kate, to
Yeah.
this. No. But
Mhm.
the way that you held your ground with love and with just a true desire to show me something new. And you could take it or leave it, right? I could have taken it or left it, right? So I think that that's why it's so important to be around like-minded people, people who have your best interests at heart, mastermind groups, because it's
Yeah.
a safe container. Because no one wants to hear Joe Schmo down the, aisle of the cubicle telling you something. It's like, Joe, who the are you? I don't think so, Joe. Like you haven't earned that respect or that trust with them. So don't go around, telling people things, because why are we telling people things, right? It's like there's a fine line between constructive criticism and judgment.
Yes. Yeah. There really is. Gosh, so much again to this. I mean, I think the beauty of the study of the mind is that it is endless. Okay, so let's move to the last one that I had written down here. A fixed mind feels threatened by the success of others.
Mm-hmm.
So very easy to get into that competitive state. Oh, you know, he has that, or she has that, or she's doing this, or he's doing this, and I want that. I want that. And what happens is we separate ourselves from it, right, energetically. So the fixed mindset feels threatened by the success of others, whereas the growth mindset is inspired by the success of others.
Yep.
Like when you teach, the times that you teach at the Napoleon Hill Institute, the mentorship program, I'm inspired by you. I'm like, look at her go. And I want to cheer you on to even more success. Because the beauty of being around like-minded people again, or people that really are able to sow belief in you,
Mm-hmm.
people who are ready, willing, and able to sow belief in you rather than tear you down.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're in an environment right now where you feel like you're being, torn down in some way, people are trying to make you feel less than. And I say that kind of with a light hand because nobody can make us feel a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
When someone says something and it resonates with the belief that we have about ourselves, that's when we feel like, okay, he's putting it on me or she's putting it on me. But when we have a growth mindset, we're inspired. Because I think the truth, Carla, is that when we see someone succeed, when we see someone else in a beautiful relationship, it's, for me, it's inspiration from God, universe, spirit that says, you know what? If it's possible for them, it's possible for you too.
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly what it is. Because what Kate said in the beginning, that's what it is. If you are angry or judgmental or jealous or feel competitive, it puts you in that vibrational state. I think we spoke about that a few weeks ago or a couple months ago. That
Yeah.
the way you feel, the way you think dictates at the way you feel. So if you
Yeah.
think a certain way, it'll put you into a certain vibration, which will put you on a certain frequency. And it's that feeling, that vibrational state, how you feel is your magnet. Your heart is your magnet. So whatever you put out is what you're going to get back. So if you put out separateness, that's them, this is me, they have it, I don't. It's just further driving that gap, that chasm, farther and farther away from the life that you want. So, don't use other people to weaponize against you in your dreams to create this chasm that pushes you further. And then we blame the world. It's a terrible state to be. I've been there. So using it to unite, build the bridges like, oh my God, I'm closer. So I would encourage you to do this. I don't care what area it is, whether it's someone who has more money, someone who has more career success and fulfillment, someone who has more love, someone who has more health.
Yeah.
Whenever you see that, feel, oh God, what would it feel like to, oh, me too. Just like me, just like me, regardless of the circumstances. Maybe you're not there yet, but use that as signs that you're closer to your dream because you couldn't experience it or see it if you weren't on that frequency. So use it as little God winks when you see people who are successful that, like, yep, it's right around the corner. I call it my lucky pennies or my God winks. Like every time you see someone or feel some way about someone else's success, use that as confirmation that yours is right around the corner.
Yes. Bring it to you. It's so good. This growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. We can really use this in any area of our lives. It could be business,
Yeah,
but it could be family relationships. It could be parenting,
yeah, yeah.
right? Are we in a fixed mindset
Mhm.
thinking that, parenting looks a certain way? I don't know, parents with school age kids, my hat goes off to them. Mine's way, way beyond school right now. And getting ready to have his first baby. And I think to myself, you know what? There's not only one way. There's
No.
always, always more than one way to get a result, to get the result that you want. So, Carla, I don't know, would you add anything? The quote that really inspired me this morning, the Eric Hopper quote, that was really to say that, you know what? Stay in a learning state.
Mm-hmm.
Always, always be coachable. And the learning, the ideas and the inspirations and the lessons can come from someone who's much younger than you. Remember, they just have a different perception.
Yeah. Yes.
It's not right or wrong. They just have a different perception. But what if 1% of that idea could propel you into the next level of everything that you've ever wanted?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I would just end my 2 cents. My last piece is that's why most of us struggle. That's why most people struggle because we have a fixed set way we think it should be. We think we should
Yeah,
parent a certain way. We think we should date in a certain way. We think we should earn money in a certain way.
yeah,
There is no right or wrong way. There's just your way. Of course, let's not, be dangerous and hurt other people, right? Let's be normal. But
right.
whatever way works for you, whatever way works for the neighbor, whatever way works for the person on the account that you follow on Instagram, no judgment. Be open. Don't be fixed and so rigid into it should be this way or this is the way it works. What kind of ding dong are you? It creates judgment. So, what Kate is saying is let's kind of break the barriers to this fixed paradigm that we've built for ourselves,
Yeah,
bust it out and be like, I could pick whatever way I want. And I'm open to seeing other people's. Maybe I'll take a smattering of here and here and here and here. I'll take what I like and leave the rest. I'm open minded. I have this growth mindset. There is no fixed set way because when I put myself in those harnesses, I'm the only one that suffers. So I love
yeah.
that.
That's
Yeah.
so true. That's so true. Well, Carla, I sure have enjoyed my time with you as always. And we will be back here the third Wednesday in June.
Yes.
And so we look forward to seeing you then. Until
Yay.
then, if you have any questions or if you would love to explore getting to your next level of growth, please reach out to Carla or myself through LinkedIn message, and we'll be happy to help you out.
Yes, yes, reach out to us, please. And on all the other channels, this is streaming Facebook. I know we're on Facebook. Reach out to Kate Wilkes and my name as well. And YouTube, email us. We are here for you on all of our socials. So just look us up and we'll be happy to help you. We'll see you next
Awesome.
time, guys.